How are you? All right, I'm gonna try to, just speak about it in a very open format. If anybody's got questions, and tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in affiliate marketing for over 10 years. We actually, when people ask us what do we do, it's a lot easier answers to tell them what don't we do. We're an advertiser, we're a publisher, we're a network, we own a call center, and we do pretty much everything under the sun in a lot of different verticals. And in the last year, we decided to branch out a little bit and get into local marketing, because right now local is where a lot of people are saying it's where it's at. And what we've done as a business is, transition to use some of the things that we've done in affiliate marketing to apply it to local businesses. Now, when Groupon and Living Social started running, daily deals, we kind of got a laugh out of it, because, in reality, all they were doing, is sending emails to consumers and doing offers that are very deeply discounted. And it's basically what we've been doing for 10 years in terms of email marketing. But building a brand and actually convincing businesses to discount their product and share a lion's share of the profits, gave us a lot of ideas, and they were very fastly growing, and we started looking at at working with them, and because we understood the business, from a lot of different angles, and we understood that in reality they were just doing very well branded email marketing, and we, based on their model, figured that there would be a good opportunity to work with actual local merchants and justify charging them thousands of dollars in fees by bringing them actual customers. One of my good friends had a family restaurant that opened up right around the time that Lehman Brothers went down, and they invested all of their savings into building out this really great restaurant that wasn't on a main street. And they were going out of business 6 months into it, because there's just, the business changed, people weren't spending as much, and they were suffering. So he approached me, because we worked in the past in marketing. He said, we're going out of business. We don't know how to get people into a restaurant, and can we figure out something in terms of marketing which would fill the restaurant and make us at least break even for now, and build some sort of a model. And it was very interesting and challenging, to figure out this model. And so we started looking at different aspects of it and applying things that we've learned, from lead generation to traffic buying to media buys to search engine optimization. How do you get people into the restaurant? How do you get the word out that it's efficient? And how to use some of the things that we use in traditional affiliate marketing, like retargeting and email marketing and calls to actions and so on and so forth. And so we built the model. We partner up with Living Social. We looked at the offers in terms of actual offer. So we looked at the website, the way it's built, the functionality, and it was essentially building a landing page for that particular restaurant. We integrated with retargeting pixels, with all the things that we've done in traditional marketing. And we analyzed all the deals that were out there across different markets, across different channels, and we figured out that in order for us to really get the exposure, we would have to create a deal that's very exciting to people and that's very well written, had a copywriter work on a copy. And we had a couple of meetings with Living Social, explaining to them that we actually know how to do marketing, and they would really just be the vehicle that delivers this message to the consumers. They didn't see things the same way that we did, but we actually convinced them to do a completely different rev share with us. Because analyzing a few deals and actually knowing the metrics, we explained to them that if they're making $20,000 or $25,000 a deal in New York City on an average, if let's say they run at, Midtown, if they run citywide, at the higher spectrum, they may be making $50,000 on a 50-50 rev split. What we were willing to do is do a tiered rev share where if we would sell, $100,000, it would be, a 60-40 split. But if we would sell over 200,000, it would be a 70-30 split. And if we would sell over 250,000, it would be an 80-20 split. And, they were a little reluctant, but we actually convinced them to go for it. And we created a very aggressive offer, which was a dinner for two with a bottle of wine for $80, with a retail value of something like $179, which included top products because we calculated food cost and all of those things. So we had steak tartare, on the menu. We actually had filet on the menu. So we made it one of these really, really aggressive deals. And we figured out, what the non-redemption would be, and still in a learning curve mode, we ran the deal during the slow, like 4th of July weekend. We sold 3,000 units, and we actually kept it at 3,000 units, not to oversell it. We sold 3,000 units in 6 hours. And at that point, it was the number one selling, like, non-branded deal on Living Social in New York City, because we sold $240,000 worth of dinners for two in 6 hours over a slow weekend. Because we understood how to create offers, and we understood how to use all the things from affiliate marketing and transfer it into local marketing. We obviously had a disaster in terms of handling customer phone calls the first time around, because we got close to 500 calls within that time frame asking, is the steak on the menu? And it was clearly, saying that, steak and everything is on the menu, but people are still hesitant, people not really convinced. 500 calls, obviously, we as a marketing company helped out the merchant to handle some of the calls, to work with their staff. Second part of it that we started looking at and really analyzing is reputation factor. A lot of people, when we interviewed them, asking them about the daily deals, they were very unhappy about the service. They felt there would be a lot of bait and switch where they were told one thing, but then in reality, it was something completely different, or they couldn't eat the dinner at 6 on a Saturday because that was for the regular full-paying customers. And analyzing all this data, reading through thousands of different Google and Yelp reviews for other businesses that ran daily deals, and understanding what the problem was and how vocal based, on the number of reviews that were there and the daily deal buyers, what we've learned is that people that are buying daily deals are much more likely to leave a review than your regular customer. And people that are buying a daily deal, if they're upset, are much more likely to leave you a negative review, which will cost you a lot of business in the long run. So what we've done is we created a whole training program where from the time somebody calls in to the time they visit the restaurant, we really worked very close with the management. I mean, because they're family friends and we love the restaurant and we didn't want them to go out of business, to treat the consumers, to treat the customers that were buying the daily deals, that were getting the discounted price, just as good as your best customer. We stressed it to everyone from, the receptionist to the hostess to the bus boys to the waiters, because the wait staff was really, really against it, because people that buy daily deals don't leave, bigger tips like the usual customers and so on and so forth. So it took a few times to really convince them that you need to treat and service this customer like this is your best customer. Even though they're paying a lot less, even though they might not leave you a big tip, even all those factors combined, you need to treat them like they're the best customer or just as good as your best customer, that they got a good deal, that this is a promotion that we've done to attract new business, and service them 150%. And by doing that, what that created is a culture of people actually leaving a lot of positive reviews. We're really vocal about the deals on social media. We're vocal about, the experience on Yelp, and it created a lot of really good, positive publicity, and it filled a lot of seats. The restaurant, servicing these 3,000 parties of two, made the place completely packed, essentially 6 days a week during, regular business hours. It did create some alienation with some regular customers, but based on the numbers and analytics that we ran, it was actually profitable, and it was something that that we could live with and be happy about. On the $240,000 deal we negotiated, the restaurant got $208,000 check, and that also, for a lot of different businesses, they pay a little different now, but it definitely helps out with cash flow. Plus, there was about 10 to 12% non-redemption, where people bought the deal but never used it, and so that also gives businesses some leftover revenue that they don't have to fulfill on. But the effect of the reputation was probably the biggest factor that that was of really great benefit, because the Yelp reviews just went through the roof, and there were very positive reviews. People were liking the experience. People were liking not being treated as a second-class citizen. People really enjoyed that, they weren't given a runaround or told, that you can't have a 6 o'clock reservation, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you can't combine it. We try to service the customer 110%. And for a lot of business owners, it's a little bit difficult to come to grips with that, because times have changed. Online has definitely changed a lot of things. And right now in retail, according to a couple of studies, a 1-star on Yelp could cost a business between 5 and 9% in revenue. For a non-national or not really branded restaurant, difference between 3.5 and 4 stars could cost a business 19% in reservations. Because people simply want the best, and if they're going online to find it, they're going to go to a business that's higher rated versus something that's, rated lower, and you can sort that way. So we ran this deal. We learned a lot from it, and we serviced the customers. We started doing an email marketing campaign, sending customers now on special occasions, on special nights. We ran the same deal essentially that we ran through Live and Social, but now a customer could get that deal directly from the restaurant, like a date night special, $80 dinner for two. So creating these now internal deals where there's no cost of acquiring those users, and there's no cost of targeting them, created a very good positive cash flow, and created brand loyalty, and people started telling their friends about a place, sharing online, and they've had a good run, and to this day they're booked 6 days a week. We ran a few other deals with them, and right now their reputation, compared to a couple of other restaurants that are compatible, like Peter Luger's has been around for over 100 years, and they have 1,200 reviews on Yelp. Club A Steakhouse, which is this restaurant that I'm speaking about, has been around for 4 years, and they have over 750 reviews and 4.5 stars. Del Frisco, which has been around for 20 years, has 600 and change reviews, and 3 or 4 stars, or but they have 4.5 stars. And as a result, we started tracking actually all the business that comes through Yelp, just by tracking phone calls and by tracking online reservations and just online inquiries. And what we've discovered is that just Yelp alone directly generates over $600,000 in revenue a year for this 200-seat steakhouse. And so what we're doing right now is working with a lot of different businesses in terms of creating a culture to generate business, maybe at a discount, of the audience that will be much more likely to leave reviews, and servicing those customers in a very good way, and having good customer service, having a good way for customers to provide a feedback to the business owner if there's ever a problem, because that generates positive reviews. One of the other stories about the restaurant is that we had a customer that had a dinner party for 4 or 6 people. She had a great time. Everything was perfect. She went home. She wrote a review that was 4 stars, describing a lot of things. And one of the practices that we encourage the restaurant to do is actually call the customer the next day and thank them for the visit, especially if they left a review online and we were able to track down who the customer is. Just basically give them a thank you phone call. Thank you for being to our place. Thank you for leaving a review. Thank you for being a customer. Thank you for sharing, your experience. And, this person left a very nice review. The manager called her, thanked her for the visit, said, I read the review. It was very nice of you. Thank you very much. Anytime, we're always open for you and we appreciate your business. And this was something that you don't expect to get from a restaurant, especially when you got something at a discount. And this person, being a big Groupon Daily Deal user, having a lot of negative experiences with a lot of different places, and being just shocked by receiving this phone call and actually being treated like a really good customer, and treated with respect, and went back to Yelp and essentially changed her review to 5 stars, because that kind of put that over the top. And because it was changed and a lot of people commented on it and liked it and shared it, it was picked for review of the day. And that gets a lot of exposure on Yelp. When something is featured as review of the day, it's always next to your business that says that it's been featured as review of the day. So simple things that are not that cost prohibitive, that any business owner could implement, could make a very big difference. Another case that we've done is we started working with a dentist who had a nice practice and wanted to build her client base and wanted to get new customers and grow the business. And so we looked at what dental deals were out there, what sold well, and we decided to do something with Invisalign, which was a hot product, especially in New York City, and a very pricey product. And we ran a deal with Groupon, providing Invisalign at 55% off, and it sold in the 3 days that the deal was running 74 deals at $3,000. So it was over $200,000 in sales once again. And we prepared the dentist for this influx of business where we had somebody handling the customer service, and we actually, a lot of people that had questions, we directed them to go to the business itself, because Invisalign is not a product. It's not like buying a steak for $80. So because it's a little bit of a different product, it drove people into the place of business. Once they visited the place of business, just to see if it was the right option for them, and by simple processes like tracking their emails and doing follow-up calls, after the 74 people that bought the deal through Groupon right away, we actually got another 100 customers that we didn't have to pay an acquisition fee per se, and added 170 customers at an average of 2,500 for this dentist in a matter of weeks. So obviously, she's been extremely happy, and we essentially build up her business overnight, and created, once again, a system where we encourage people to leave reviews, we encourage people to give us feedback, we encourage people to do things, to provide us feedback and their experience, and using simple tools to do that, which a lot of merchants are just not sure how to do, and don't really, have never really done that. So now we work with a lot of different restaurants, and as anything in this space, as soon as it gets saturated, it doesn't sell quite as well. But we still do an average of 1,000 to 2,000 sales for a restaurant, because what ends up happening is that a lot of other restaurants and people that live in social and Groupon and all the daily deal companies, as soon as we come up with like a new idea and we do it through them and it works really efficiently, they essentially start implementing it across all their clients. So now it's obviously not as efficient, and we have to reinvent it or create our own daily deal site, which is something that we did not want to do and really not get into. But one of our parts of the business right now is building simple systems to drive the right type of consumer to your business at a discount, that are much more likely to leave you a review, to build positive reputation on Yelp and other Yelp and other review sites. And that's something that's long term. Those reviews are there to stay. You have to have good products. So we don't work with any business that we feel is unethical, or they don't provide good product or good service, and that we find questionable. But a lot of times, just if your if your target market is a certain audience, let's say you have a restaurant but it's more family style, and you have a lot more older customers that are not going to leave reviews. When you have people that are much younger that come, it's not really their cup of tea, and they leave you a bad review. Now, even when your existing customers are leaving reviews, they don't count, and they actually are counted against you. So a lot of merchants don't understand that, and what they end up doing is, seeing that these reviews do affect their business, asking some of their customers to leave them reviews, and basically I'm not going to say incentivize them, but ask them to leave reviews. And the more people that actually have no reputation on Yelp leave you reviews, the more it counts against your business, because Yelp has a very sophisticated algorithm that we understand, and it basically rates every user and all those attributes of that user: how many friends you have, how many reviews have you left, what is your review frequency, how many times you check in, and all those things. And based on that, they make a decision whether the review is true or not, and what your credibility level is, and what the credibility level of the review. So even in places where just one person that has a little bit of credibility with Yelp and has done reviews before and just has a bad experience, leaves a business a negative review, now your regular customers that really don't Yelp and do reviews, as soon as they start leaving you reviews, it actually counts against the business, and it caused businesses lost revenue, and it caused businesses a lot of lost sales, and they don't know what to do. So what we're trying to do more is create a very simple system and a lot of different training videos and just simple point of sale offline to online materials to have better communication between the customers and the business owners, and to have business owners better understand this whole new world of reviews and reputation, and use some of the online marketing tools that used in affiliate marketing to use in their retail businesses. I've actually prepared this a long time ago, so I'm not, even sure, what's on there. But it's basically, consistent with what I'm kind of going over. So, I wanted to kind of give a broad, overview of what we're doing and what we discovered. And this is not really in line maybe with Affiliate Summit, but at the end of the day, what we're seeing right now, a lot of affiliates and a lot of people that got into affiliate marketing start becoming business owners, having their products, whether it's online or offline, getting into retail businesses. So I just wanted to, share, and I'd love to, possibly answer some questions or do it more in an open forum to answer whatever questions I can. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ramu Yelamanchi. My question was, so you're generating, you mentioned a couple $100,000 in revenues on that specific deal. So what channels were you guys using to do the actual lead generation?
Well, the way we ran the deals, we actually ran it through, in one case, Groupon, another case, Live and Social. But what we've done with Groupon and Live and Social is because we actually analyze the data and we understand how their deals do, we negotiate a very different rev share with them.
Right.
And so on a $240,000 in revenue, we had on our second deal a 20-80 split where the merchant got 80% of the revenue and Live and Social got 20% of the revenue. They do the merchanting, they sell the deal, they essentially, do all the sales, they generate the data, and the business just fulfills it.
So they were doing the subscriber acquisition then, not you guys.
They weren't.
The email, I guess, when they're sending out the mail, right? Those emails are getting generated. That was happening with Groupon. You guys were sort of providing the deal side of it. It sounded like.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So what we've done, we provide the deal. But after the fact, because we build a website, just that's landing page that's very informative. We have a sign up box where people could sign up for newsletters and special deals. We started generating a lot of direct subscribers that then we can send them a direct deal. It doesn't sell as much because obviously Groupon and Live and Social, A, have a brand, and B, they have a massive database. But now these are your existing customers, and you send them deals and, just simple email marketing that works really well. Another thing that we've done is we actually place retargeting pixels. And so what we would do a week after the deal or 2 weeks after the deal, create an internal generic deal where it's like a date night. And now, because it's not Groupon and Live and Social, we can do things a little different without actually having any limitations on time frames and things like that. And what we would tell people, there was this deal that you missed, but we'll on Monday through Thursday between 6 and 7 we'll do a similar deal at $79 or $69. We figured out what the food cost was and all of those aspects, so it would still be profitable for the restaurant. It's not as profitable as your regular cover that's average of $75 a person, but your discounted cover is, let's say, at $40 a person. If somebody gets drink, there's upsells, there's cross sells. It's still profitable. It's still fulfilling those selling those seats.
Great, thanks.
Anybody else? Yeah, I mean that's really been kind of the challenge, and this is more, this is kind of why I'm discussing this business with a lot of people. One of our biggest challenges has been figuring out a really good billing model from us to clients. So the initial pool of clients that this business was created out of were friends and family, people that came to to us, because we understand marketing and we've done a lot of lead generation, a lot of product sales online, and once you roll that out past your friends and family, creating a model that's easily adoptable and people really understand it well has been a little bit of a challenge, because the reason why we've never done anything in the retail space or working with small businesses per se is that we couldn't figure out a way to build them thousands of dollars. With Groupon and Live in Social and Groupon, essentially, what they created the model is that we're bringing customers to you. This is new business, and we're going to take a big piece of it, like 50%, but these are your customers, so you're not spending money on marketing and things like that. And even though I'm not really crazy about the Groupon concept, and I think done wrong, it could really destroy your business, it was a model that the business owner could understand. Yes, I'm discounting my product. Yes, I am, taking half of that money and giving it to you for bringing that customer through the door. But I still, I'm getting a customer now, and I'm still getting revenue from that customer, even, to cover my cost, and there'll be some repeat business and so on and so forth. Where in our business, it's a little bit kind of a hybrid of consulting versus, technology and understanding. And we worked probably with over 50 clients right now, more on a consulting basis. But we've built a lot of technology around it, and so we're looking into figuring out a way of how to actually create a model that would be more technology driven and much more scalable and easily understandable by consumers. Creating our own daily deal site was kind of one of the ideas, but having so much competition in the space and really not being able to figure out what a differentiator is, and high cost of customer acquisition, we decided to stay away from that. So we're still figuring it out. We're building a lot of technology around it to make it very simple for merchants to use. There's been some companies like Constant Contact has their local marketing system, which has some very good features. And for someone that understands marketing to a degree and has the time to spend and really get in there and use the system, it's a great system. Also, Signpost has kind of a standalone. You can do a daily deal. We have all this distribution out there, and you have all these tools, and you can do email marketing and capture data and so on and so forth. But from what we've seen, it's not as efficient, and it requires you to actually have someone in your business or take the time to really learn the process and really, really get into it. Where what we're trying to do is make it very simple for the consumer. And one of the things that we explored is working with the Groupon, or essentially selling our technology and our system to Groupon or Live in Social or Google. But and a lot of them have expressed a lot of interest because we've done some of the most successful daily deals in New York and in North America, based on using all the stuff that is learned in affiliate marketing and lead generation and all the new technology. But Groupon had a kind of a rough start, and Live in Social hasn't been doing as good. So we might come back to that, but right now we have clients. We're not really looking to bring in more clients, but work with the existing ones and figure out how to scale it more through technology. And because it's, some of the things that we're doing right now, it's very resource intensive and requires people that actually understand what they're doing. And that's not that it's not possible to scale, but it's much more difficult to scale than a technology business. Anybody have questions, or just maybe we've done this just to to touch on that, we've done it for a lot of different businesses, and on top of doing the daily deal and doing the initial injection of clients and using that client injection from Groupon or Living Social and building the reputation, we also work on creating internal deals for clients, doing email marketing, for certain clients, like just doing simple things like pay-per-click management and search engine optimization, and all of those things to create a marketing strategy that allows them, to continuously bring on new clients. In a couple of weeks ago, actually Facebook launched their nearby services, which they're not really advertising too much, but people can check in and leave a positive review and rate a business. I mean, they can leave a recommendation, positive or negative. They can rate the business, and based on some of the studies that we've done, it's a lot more accurate and a lot more on the money when it comes to accuracy and overall kind of feedback on a business. Because one of the things that Yelp has also created is a group of people, which are the elite, which are well trusted, Yelp reviewers that I'm not exactly sure if they're compensated or not. I don't think they're compensated, but they're just very well trusted. And it's a group of people. They have parties together. They communicate together. And what that has done, in our opinion, is that it created kind of an opinionated group that likes certain things, and because they're all somewhat similar, a lot of businesses, just because they might not be a perfect fit for this group of people, they don't enjoy the experience. It's too expensive for them, or there's something about it that they don't like the crowd of the establishment. They're really leaving a lot of kind of bad reviews, and they really count, which from what we've seen could be once again a problem, because they're not liking the business, and because it's not really their cup of tea. Now they're punishing the business because other people rely on those reviews, and because other people trust those reviews, and because other people look at those reviews. A lot of nightclubs, especially in New York City, that have really strict door policies, all have very bad reviews from people that never even been inside the club. And it's kind of one of those things. This has to be some sort of a transaction or some sort of a way to validate that review. And what we've seen recently with a lot of online sites like Home Depot and Lowe's and Amazon is that they actually, you can leave a review in general about a product, but if you actually bought the product and they track that, that's a verified review. Any questions? Does anybody here have a retail business or an online business that review is is a factor in the business? Okay. No, I can hear it. Is that like a third-party service that I think that's more used for products, and we really haven't focused on that. But I think the biggest challenge with any type of review sites and reviews and feedback in general is that if it becomes where people trust it, if it's trusted, then people will try to manipulate it. So a lot of people don't trust a lot of the sites and a lot of the reviews out there for a very good reason, because they could be manipulated and and people try to gain the system because they do make an impact. So I'm not really familiar with that site, and I don't really deal. I think they focus more on online products or digital products, which is not something that we're really focused on. We're looking to be more focused towards retailers and small, medium-sized businesses, but we actually are looking at working with some bigger brands, and we had some conversation with some national chains that that have a lot of bad reviews, and it doesn't really hurt their business as much, but they are starting to look at it. For example, if you look at McDonald's, their Yelp reviews are probably on an average of 2 to 3 stars. And when people go to McDonald's, I mean, you get what you get. You're there, as one of my friends said it, I mean, if you go to McDonald's, you're going to get kind of below average food, but you're going to get below average food every time in any McDonald's, from New York to Vegas to Moscow to, Berlin. So they're looking to maybe do something with that, but it hasn't been really as much of an effect of those national brands versus more of your kind of mom and pop business. And surprisingly, New York is definitely where reviews do count a lot because of a lot of tourists. What we've noticed, a lot of places that are heavy with tourists, they look at the reviews, and Yelp plays a huge factor in not just Yelp, TripAdvisor, and so on and so forth. But we also seen a lot of smaller towns, more and more people are leaving reviews and reading reviews, and the demographic of the users that are much more active in the consumer state and the respect is that from a little internal study, if you will, bless you, that we've done, we've seen that someone that buys a daily deal is probably 20 times more likely to leave a review than someone that just goes to a restaurant. And someone that buys a daily deal and they're in their 20 to 30 age group are much more, 10 times more likely to leave a review than someone that buys a deal and they're, between 30 and 40. And so the younger, the younger, more price-sensitive consumer is much more vocal about it, and they're much more, engaged. So targeting that audience and giving them the deal and servicing them is a way to actually completely legitimately build positive reviews and build reputation. Yeah, we actually also, this is another interesting story. We ran a daily deal for not very well known brand of clothing maker, dressmaker, and what ended up, what we put together was a national deal. But what's interesting about this is that we actually once again placed retargeting pixels, and we sold over 2,000, dresses at like $59.99 through Living Social, negotiated a good rev share. But on top of that, we also tracked, 35 or 40,000 consumers that were interested in the product but didn't buy, and running retargeting campaigns to them, and simply going out and targeting that consumer generated a lot of additional sales because the person obviously was interested. And when you run the retargeting deals for sales at the same price point that you ran, the what same price points or a little bit below than you ran, the original deal, will get them to buy. And using companies like Live and Social or Groupon, you're exposing your brand to a lot of people. If you structure the deal right and you really make it interesting and engaging, and not really focus. I mean, you're focusing on the discount because you're bringing in new people, but at the same time, you get in a lot of consumers, and you do have a certain percentage of non-redemption. It actually works out really well, and you get a very good ROI, even working with some traditional products like skincare products or nutritional products. Both Groupon, Live and Social, and some of the other sites are a little bit they're somewhat selective, I should say, about in terms of who they bring on, and from the retail or from online perspective. But if you do have a good product, just initially to get the word out and to get some feedback from consumers, it's definitely a good vehicle to get it out there. And I think it's extremely important, to treat an offer like you would like you would an online offer, where the copy, the images, and all of those things do play a role. We've seen lifts as much as 20, 30% by changing the subject line, by putting some copy that generates a lot more calls to actions. So it's important, to remember that and use all the, a lot of the things that we use in affiliate marketing to work with these daily deals. Are you falling asleep? Any other questions? I've never done this before, so I'm maybe not as prepared. And I actually was supposed to speak on, be on a panel with a few other people, but somebody canceled, and so that's why I'm here. Well, it's somewhat similar to doctors. The problem with lawyers is that a lot of people don't want to, essentially admit that they've, not admit, but make the information public. And these companies like ZocDoc that's focusing on, right, but they also have the review place. I mean, Yelp is definitely somewhere where you can leave reviews for lawyers. I mean, they have lawyers as a category. It just hasn't been, it just hasn't really been a factor. I mean, people, when they're looking for a lawyer, from what we've seen, Yelp is not really a big impact versus restaurants or other service industries. But I think, it will become more, and there has to be some sort of a transaction also. If there'd be kind of like a lore matching site, and you have the transaction and you can definitely track it, I think it will become, of an impact. And we've just never really done it. We work with a few lawyers, but we do more of SEO, pay-per-click, and those things, because most of the time, from what we see, people need a lawyer when something happens, and it's not really, it's something that's event-driven purchase versus, let me get the lawyer and see what what we can do with them. And still, in the B2B community and professional community, a lot of people still rely on referrals and word of mouth. And if somebody has something, they'll, if somebody has a problem, they'll ask someone of influence in their, in their circle for a recommendation, versus where people will just look where to grab a slice of pizza, or, or where to get their nails done. But I think in next few years, as there will be something moving into more professional services as well. Mobile, yeah. Um, it's good that I made these slides, but mobile is actually right now really another channel that we're focused on for the consumers. It's not. We haven't seen it be really effective yet, but we understand that it's getting there. We probably just didn't have possibly the right merchant to work with on the mobile side. But mobile is definitely becoming big, and it goes in hand with Yelp and reputation, because when Apple released their previous version of Maps, Yelp reviews were actually built in. So somebody looking for a place to eat, within a few block radius, could see the names and could see the reviews right away. And so mobile is becoming also extremely important. A lot more people, especially in small purchases, are moving to mobile. It's still very difficult to make mobile work because of all the geo-targeting capabilities and the cost of traffic. I've seen, like Seamless Web is very actively trying to acquire users on mobile, because they understand that once somebody has their app and they're actively using it, they're much more likely going to continue using it, and it's going to be a very good play for them in the long run as more and more people move to smartphones and use mobile. We ran some campaigns for some of our customers on the mobile side. Just had seen a little bit of success, but not to the scale that we wanted to, and it's still a little early. But we do actually, for all our clients, we build mobile friendly sites that make it easy, for someone when they're looking for their business to actually go to the website and see the relevant information that they're looking for. So I think mobile is going to have a couple of a big year in the next year or two, and more very hyper local targeted media will be will work very efficiently for for the businesses. Also on social media, I think for a lot of businesses, it's important to understand what to do in social media, especially for entertainment-driven businesses and for businesses that are working with consumers. On a small scale, it's a little bit cost prohibitive and labor intensive to actually run a good social media campaign. And just posting specials about your product or things like that is not very efficient, and I actually think it hurts the brand. We do a lot of things on Facebook and social media, and we experiment a lot. For example, during Hurricane Sandy, we created a group, Hurricane Sandy update, like updates, and we actually spending less than $100 on marketing, acquired over 100,000 users to that group, because it was very relevant, because people were online, and because it was very we bought some media, and then it went viral, and we actually had people updating content to the group, and but we still didn't figure out how to monetize it. We didn't feel that it would be, good business practice to monetize it in a, sell products to people, just do it in a way where, we didn't agree with it. So we really just ran a little bit of ads in the groups that were not really for sales of any products or services. We got a lot of inquiries, and a lot of companies were interested in running ads post Hurricane Sandy, but it just we didn't have a good model to take them on as advertisers, and that was not really the model that we were working on. But what it did show is that, in an event-driven environment, when there's something that you can build and reach a lot of consumers and get them engaged and sign them up to your group in a very short period of time. So we didn't make money with that, but we actually did learn, a lot. And next time there's a hurricane or a natural disaster, we'll see how, what we can do, or, any type of event, and figure out a way how this could be useful to brands and clients. If anybody still has any questions, or we can, it's a few minutes left, but we can wrap it up. And I thank you very much for taking the hour out of your time to listen to all of this. And thank you.